Are we going to look the other way? Are we going to stamp out that innovation? Are we going to let Russia run with it? I think it's in our best interest to be a leader.
Okay, moving on. So Bitcoin is mainstream. Point number one. We'll start with economic impact. And, just off the cuff, I know you guys hear a million stories, so we just want to communicate some of them. But, and also even just, what types of companies are getting involved, because it isn't just miners, and, there's Bitcoin startups too, but I'm always amazed, and even just at the TCU, shindig that, Steve organized, just the different types of companies that are there. Yeah, so whoever wants to start, it's like the economic impact of Bitcoin in Texas, trying to paint that picture.
Yeah, I think the TCU event that we did is a good example. It's at the business school. It's an energy-focused school, and it gave us some great exposure to a pretty diverse group of institutional, professional class of peoples. During the day, it was geared towards that type of gathering. But what was interesting about it is, or the message we partially tried to convey is that if you are interested in or work in the energy industry, this affects you. And one of the timelines that we put up to try to illustrate that is kind of looking over the last 100 years, and there's a number of watershed moments where the energy industry changed forever. And so a few of those that we pointed out, I'm not saying this is an exhaustive list, but I think you'll get the idea, is, in 1902 was the Spindletop Gusher in Southeast Texas. So before that, we're a horse and buggy society. Texas is a lumber state. That changed forever on that day, right? And the next example that we gave was the commercialization of nuclear energy, because when that was created as primarily a research initiative towards, that was warfare oriented, it was impossible for anyone you would have seemed insane if you would claim that this will easily transition over to like retail electricity generation, and more so that energy would become so geopolitical as a function of that. So there's a before and an after inflection point. And then maybe most relevant to TCU at least, and really us in DFW, for years, it was really derided in the oil field that you could extract oil and gas from tight rock, from rock that lacked in porosity and permeability. And it wasn't until George Mitchell combined horizontal drilling with high pressure frac jobs that he cracked that code. And for years, people told him he was crazy. He almost went bankrupt. That's a whole story you should look into. But to all of us now, it just seems obvious. Like, oh yeah, in Texas, we're number one. We just passed Saudi Arabia. Not obvious. I remember when it was like, we're running out of oil. There'll be no gas. Saudi Arabia is going to rule us forever. And now we don't even talk about that. So you get people that come up with these kinds of ideas, drilling and Spindletop, whatever it may be, and you're derided as that's ridiculous. It's not going to work. Turns out, actually, it changed the world forever. And my strong opinion is that this is no different. And there's a before and an after inflection point that we're living through right now. At least that's what I hope the people at TCU and some of you in this room will take away, that it seems to an outside group, it's crazy, it's extreme, it's on the fringe. But what we tried to do is just provide an explanation of the underlying technology, what this does, the value proposition that's entirely unique, an energy consumer that can be moved to where you need it, that's price sensitive, and articulate to me how that doesn't affect every energy source. I'm yet to get anybody articulate to me how that's not the case, because you can't. It didn't exist before, and now it does exist, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So my encouragement for the people in that room and here is, now that you've seen it, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to look the other way? Are we going to stamp out that innovation? Are we going to let Russia run with it? I think it's in our best interest to be a leader. And that was well received, and we'll continue to do our best to get that message out, because most of what gets out in the media is just utter nonsense that mining is doing complex calculations. And it's just, so that sounds silly. Why would you support something? So they're doing calculations and consuming all this energy. That doesn't make any sense, right? So we've tried to take the time to explain the reason that energy consumption is securing a network that's good for humanity and good for our energy economy at large. So it was a good event. We're going to continue to do it, continue to do events like this and longer form educational content. And I know I'm rambling on, but I'm going to mention as well, today was an exciting day because we plugged in a Bitcoin miner at Dallas College. And that is exactly why I wanted to come and work at the TBC, because that started at our last summit in Austin with a trustee from Dallas College that showed up there and just said, I didn't know anything about this before. This was a really cool event. How do we do this at Dallas College? And I'll spare you all of the committees and this and that and the other we had to go through. But we made it through. And that's a testament to that school system, because they really are leading to do that. Even though it's just one machine, I think it's remarkable that we were able to do that, and that they want to participate in having workforce development programs and teaching the next generation about this innovative technology. So it's happening. I think it's inevitable once you understand how much this changes. Really anything having to do with financial services and energy.
Hey y'all, Lee Bratcher here with the Texas Blockchain Council. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. If you like this content, check out the Texas Blockchain Council YouTube channel, as well as following us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.